Howdy, folks. Today we're digging into the life of Andrew Jackson, a man who shaped America for better or worse. His story starts in a log cabin in the wild backcountry of the Carolinas, 1767. His parents, Scots-Irish immigrants, settled in the Waxhaws, a rugged region on the border of North and South Carolina. Tragedy struck before Andrew was born. His father died in a logging accident, leaving his mother Elizabeth to raise 3 boys alone. Jackson grew up tough, surrounded by a large, close-knit family, but always felt the absence of his father. This loss forged a fierce independence in him. He was quick to anger, stubborn, and never backed down from a fight. Life on the frontier was hard. Andrew learned more from experience than from books, preferring horses and competition to the classroom. He was a scrapper, always ready to defend his honor. This upbringing gave him a deep understanding of the common man, the farmers and frontiersmen carving a nation out of wilderness. The Waxhaws instilled in him loyalty and a distrust of authority, especially the British. The Scots-Irish community valued freedom above all else, and Jackson absorbed that spirit. These early years, spent on the edge of civilization, forged his character, tough, ambitious, fiercely protective of his own. He was a product of the American frontier. The boy from the Waxhaws was destined for a life far beyond the Carolina backcountry. He would leave an indelible mark on the nation he was just beginning to know. Jackson's story is one of grit, loss, and relentless drive. And it was only just beginning. When the American Revolution broke out, Andrew Jackson was just 13. The war swept through the Carolinas, and the Jackson family was caught in the crossfire. Andrew and his brother Robert joined the local militia as couriers and scouts, dangerous work for kids. They rode through territories swarming with British soldiers and loyalists, witnessing the brutal reality of civil war. In 1781, both boys were captured by the British. A British officer ordered Andrew to clean his boots. Jackson refused, demanding to be treated as a prisoner of war. The officer slashed him with a sword, leaving scars on his hand and head, and a lifelong hatred for the British. The brothers were thrown into a filthy prison, starved and exposed to smallpox. Their mother, Elizabeth, negotiated their release, but Robert died soon after returning home. Andrew's oldest brother, Hugh, had already died in the war. Elizabeth, after nursing Andrew, went to care for other prisoners and died of cholera. By 14, Jackson was an orphan, his family destroyed by the Revolution. These losses hardened him, cementing a worldview shaped by struggle and survival. He saw the world as a place where only the strong endured. The Revolution gave him a cause, but took everything else. Jackson's hatred for the British would shape his future. The scars, physical and emotional, never faded. He emerged from the war fiercely independent, distrustful of authority, and determined to make his mark. The boy who lost everything would become a man who refused to back down. The Revolution forged Andrew Jackson's steel, and he was just getting started. After the war, Jackson was a restless orphan with a temper and a small inheritance. He dabbled in saddle making, gambling, and even teaching, but craved purpose. In 1784, he chose law, studying in Salisbury, North Carolina. By 1787, he was admitted to the bar, but the real opportunity was out west. Jackson moved to Nashville, Tennessee, a rough frontier town perfect for an ambitious young lawyer. He quickly earned a reputation as a formidable prosecutor and began acquiring land, building wealth and influence. Jackson joined the local militia, rising through the ranks as a tough, disciplined commander. By Tennessee statehood in 1796, he was a prominent citizen, lawyer, landowner, and military leader. Politics followed naturally. He became Tennessee's first representative in Congress, then a senator. Jackson's rise from orphan to power player was swift. He forged his own path, driven by ambition and frontier grit. The log cabin boy was now a man of influence, but his greatest challenges and triumphs were still ahead. Jackson was on the rise, and America would never be the same. The frontier had found its champion. Jackson's political career had ups and downs, but war made him a legend. In the War of 1812, he led the Tennessee militia against the British and their Creek allies. His iron will earned him the nickname Old Hickory. At Horseshoe Bend, he crushed the Creek Nation, forcing them to cede millions of acres. This victory made him a national figure, but his greatest moment came at New Orleans. In January 1815, Jackson's ragtag army, militia, regulars, Creoles, free men of color, and pirates faced a massive British force. Against all odds, Jackson's defenses held. The British suffered over 2,000 casualties, the Americans fewer than 100. The Battle of New Orleans electrified the nation. Jackson became a national hero, no longer just a general, but a symbol of American grit. Old Hickory had arrived. Behind Jackson's public life was a private love story with Rachel Donaldson Robards. They met in Nashville, fell in love, and married, only to discover Rachel's divorce wasn't finalized. Forced to remarry, they became the target of scandal and political attacks for decades. Jackson fiercely defended Rachel's honor, even fighting a deadly duel over her reputation. Despite the controversy, their marriage was a source of strength. They adopted Rachel's nephew and cared for other children, building a family at the Hermitage, their plantation near Nashville. The Hermitage was both sanctuary and symbol, built on enslaved labor, complicating Jackson's legacy. The 1828 presidential campaign brought relentless attacks on Rachel. Jackson won, but Rachel died of a heart attack before he took office. He blamed his enemies for her death, entering the presidency a grieving widower. Rachel's loss haunted him for the rest of his life. The Hermitage remained his refuge, but it was never the same. Jackson's love for Rachel shaped his character, fierce, loyal, and unyielding. Behind the legend was a man marked by love and loss. The heart of Old Hickory was forever scarred. Jackson's path to the presidency was anything but smooth. In 1824, he won the most votes, but a corrupt bargain in the House handed the presidency to John Quincy Adams. Outraged, Jackson's supporters rallied, setting the stage for a new era in American politics. The 1828 campaign was brutal. Jackson was painted as a champion of the common man, Adams as an elitist. Jackson's team mastered popular politics rallies, newspapers, and relentless messaging. Attacks on his character and marriage were vicious, but the people chose Jackson in a landslide. His victory was a triumph for democracy. A man from the frontier, not the elite, now led the nation. Jackson's inauguration was wild. Thousands of supporters flooded Washington, symbolizing a government for the people. The old guard was horrified, but Jackson's America had arrived. The presidency would never be the same. Old Hickory was in the White House, and he was ready for a fight. President Jackson saw himself as the people's champion, determined to fight the powerful. His first target, the Second Bank of the United States, which he saw as a tool for the rich. Jackson vetoed its recharter, railing against concentrated wealth and power. He removed federal funds, crippling the bank and shifting money to state pet banks. Next came the nullification crisis. South Carolina, led by his own vice president, threatened to defy federal tariffs and secede. Jackson responded with force, declaring nullification treason and preparing the military. A compromise averted civil war, but the showdown revealed deep national divisions. Through it all, Jackson expanded presidential power, reshaping the office forever. He was a force of will, unyielding, controversial, and transformative. The nation would never be the same. Jackson's most infamous act was the Indian Removal Act of 1830. He saw native tribes as obstacles to American expansion and pushed for their removal west of the Mississippi. The Cherokee and other 5 civilized tribes tried to assimilate, even winning a Supreme Court case. Jackson ignored the ruling, forcing treaties under duress. The removals were disastrous. Thousands died from disease, starvation, and exposure. The Cherokee's forced march in 1838 became known as the Trail of Tears. Nearly a quarter of their people died. This policy left a dark stain on Jackson's legacy. It was born of prejudice and greed, resulting in unimaginable suffering. The Trail of Tears remains a haunting chapter in American history. After 2 turbulent terms, Jackson retired to the Hermitage in 1837. He remained a powerful voice in the Democratic Party, shaping politics from afar. The Panic of 1837, partly caused by his banking policies, hit the nation, and Jackson hard. He struggled with debt and chronic pain, but his influence endured. Jackson died in 1845, buried beside Rachel. His legacy is complex, a champion of the common man, a strong nationalist, but also a slaveholder and architect of Indian removal. He reshaped the presidency, founded the modern Democratic Party, and expanded democracy, though only for white men. Jackson was a hero to many, a tyrant to others. His story is a reminder that history is messy and full of contradictions. Old Hickory left a mark we're still grappling with today. Thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the lives that shaped our world. Until next time.